in the last 6 days. 5 days.
Sorry, come again, please. I didn't get that.
More than 300 persons have been kidnapped. More than
300 have been kidnapped
Yes.
in
the last 6 days.
in Nigeria.
Yes.
Wow. All right, guys, welcome to the pod, Silas. It's been a minute.
It's actually been a long time that I've not been here. I think before the elections, when we discuss the elections before the 2023 elections, I guess.
Who will be the governor? Who will be the president?
With the president, how
Yeah.
it's going to be.
And here, we are here, unfortunately, not on a very happy note.
With the new administration.
To what is happening in Nigeria today is not what anybody would have hoped for. Like from the beginning of this administration up until now, what is your assessment of what has been happening?
All right. Is it on a general perspective?
Yes, on the general perspective.
Okay. Well,
before we get to
the
specific
main
things.
discussions.
Yeah.
Well, I would say the Tinubu administration is actually doing well in some areas, while he needs to check up on some things in other areas. When we talk about the issue of the economy, I think he's trying his best to fix the economy and bringing in economic reforms. Of course, the president had said those reforms that they're bringing, it's going to be painful, but it's a long-term kind of a thing that we might not enjoy them now till some years to come. But when you look at the other aspects, in the political space, where the presidency is trying to suffocate democracy, trying to turn the opposition into one party system, and so what's happening, and so it's not actually good for the democracy of Nigeria. And then when we look at the issue of insecurity as well, this is where we're going to base our discussion today, and I think the president or the presidency or the present administration needs to do more on that, and we'll be looking at it in a short while.
Okay. So the president is doing well economically.
Economically, yeah.
In football, they tell you there is stats and there is eye test. So is it based on stats or based on eye test that he's doing well economically? Because the last time I checked, most people are hungry.
Of course, last time people are hungry, but I don't think anymore. Looking at the assessment, when you talk about people being hungry, it means they cannot be able to afford food to eat. And I think there's a crash in the prices of food items in the market. That's what the common man needs, food at a cheaper price. It is available. And when you look at the previous famine season, with this year, there's a less report of people going to the farms to use the simple words to thief food items. You understand?
Yeah.
To steal these items in the farms
to help you harvest before you.
Yeah, before you. But this time around is another twist of the same story, because there's of course availability of the food, and then the prices have crashed, and so we didn't actually get so much of that report, just like we witnessed the previous year.
Talking about the crashing of prices of foodstuff, a lot of people are complaining. I mean, people in the market, they're complaining because they bought this stuff in high prices, and now the prices have crashed down.
And they hoard them. That's actually hoarding.
Okay, yeah, hoarding. Yeah. And then apart from them, there are farmers that they actually bought farm input. Let me just sum
it up, because this is not what we're here to discuss, but
let
me just put it this way.
All right.
I have always called on the government to look at, to subsidize farming inputs farming inputs, because when you subsidize farming input, even if there's a crash of the prices, it will not actually affect the farmers. But in a situation where today 2 bags of maize cannot even buy a bag of fertilizer for you, so that is where the problem is coming from. But I think that's where the government needs to fix that, the prices of the commodity of farming inputs, the fertilizer, the herbicide, and so forth and so forth. I think that's where the government needs to focus. But we hope to see changes next year.
Okay. Talking about the insecurity issues, we've had statements coming from America, where the president Donald Trump has described Nigeria as a place of particular concern. What is your reaction to that?
All right. Before I give a reaction to the statement of the United States president, let's look at the security situation in Nigeria from different perspectives. Now, the security situation in Nigeria is so complex. There's a complexity of the whole issue. Now, I categorize insecurity in Nigeria into 5 category.
Okay.
The Boko Haram / ISWAP, the bandits, the banditry, farmer-harder clashes, militancy, and then the secessionists. Now, the Boko Haram insurgency and the ISWAP, ravaging most part of the northeast, and then the banditry there in the northwest. And then the farmer-harder clashes in the north central, and then the part of southwest as well, because they are facing the same issue with the northwest, with the north central when we talk about the farmer-harder clashes. And then the secessionists, the independent people of Biafra, they are in the southeast, and then the south has the militancy. That's the militants. And so, these issues differ based on these regions, and then their motives also differs. So when we're talking about the issue of this insecurity, we need to look at those things, those categories I've mentioned from the beginning, and then, relate it to what is happening today. Now, the people from the north central, I think that is where the main issue actually started, that led to the president calling Nigeria a country of concern. Then what actually happened in the north central and then part of the northwest, southwest? I mean, it's because of the kind of attack that is unleashed on the people. Initially, it is something that started like a farmer-harder clash. But along the way, one will begin to look at it in a different form. Is this really a farmer-harder clash? Because it is turning to another thing, and that is where the issue of genocide came in, the issue of ethnic cleansing came in. What is genocide? Genocide is, when you try to wipe away, a particular religion, ethnic group or a race completely. You wipe them away, from the surface of the earth. And then when we talk about ethnic cleansing, is when you drive, these people from their homes, and then you settle. You understand?
Yeah.
You drive them away, and then you claim, their
territory.
land. And so that's exactly what is happening in some part of this state, Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa. This is what is happening. So it has metamorphosis from what we used to call the farmer-harder clashes to another thing else. That is the problem. And so there was a loud, wide outcry from the people, from the affected people from those places I've mentioned, calling on the international community that, see, we are in trouble. We are on the siege. We are being driven away from our communities. We no longer go to farms. We are not safe in our communities. They come, they unleash mayhem on us. They kill our people. They try to occupy our lands. They settle. There are communities, if you go to in some part of these places, where they drove these people away and then they settle there. So if you look at this issue, it's different with what is happening in Zamfara, Katsina, and the part of those territories, Kebbi State, where
Sokoto.
Sokoto, these bandits are there. They chase away people from their communities. They settle within the community. They have a free time on those communities. They even impose levy to this community. They pay. You understand? And so when we talk about the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, it is complex, that it is just categorized into this category I have mentioned. Now let's come back to your question. What is my reaction to the president designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern? Now, it is the cry of these people around that have generated that. I always tell people, okay, when it started, the Nigerian government denied the allegation that there was no genocide. And even if there are killings, which they, of course, accepted to read, it is not centered on a particular religion. All both religions are affected by the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. For example, if you go to some of this the northeast and the northwest, there are mosques that have they come to mosques, kill people in the mosques, abduct people, come to the communities, kill who they ever want to kill, abduct whatever they want to carry, and then they go with them. Same thing is happening in the Plateau. Something is happening in Benue. Same thing is happening in Nasarawa. So the voices of the people from the Christendom dominated the airwaves at that time, where there are a lot of cry and then, calling on, there are a lot of petitions to the United States government that, hey, come and help us. They are killing us. Because, of course, those communities are mostly Christian communities in the North Central. So what they do is to call on the petition the international community that, hey, we are seriously in trouble, and there's a genocide going on, there's ethnic cleansing going on, they are killing our people, and that was what generated this concern.
Okay, you've spoken quite very well, and my next question is, do you believe in what the president said? You gave us an overview of everything, the types of insecurity we have in Nigeria, and then what transpired between the president and then how the Nigerian government reacted to it. Do you believe in what he said?
Trump?
Yes.
Of course. One cannot shy away from what he said. But I think it's based on the petition that was sent to the United States Congress, and that was what Donald Trump acted on, that there are killing of Christians in Nigeria, and the government needs to wake up in its tools to stop those killings. And then the Nigerian government says, okay, yes, there are killings, but it is not a particular religion that is being killed. The president of the United States of America, who is seen as a world power, should have balanced the situation, should have had more investigation, because there are CIA, agents all over, where he can get more of this information to find out that, hey, it's not all about a particular religion, but both religions are affected when it comes to the issue of insecurity. So I think the president should have balanced first, get more information about, the types of insecurity in Nigeria, so that he will be able to balance. If Trump would have said, okay, there are killings in Nigeria, and then the government needs to stop the killings in Nigeria, I think that would have been better as a super world power country like America, where every other country in the world look up to the United States. So the United States is just like the police of the world. You understand? So Trump should have actually, done the investigation and then come up with that resolution. But then I know you might want to ask if, coming into Nigeria now, maybe launching an attack in Nigeria. Maybe what would I say? In some of the issue. Now, I have maintained that yes, there are fears initially from the beginning that if United States will strike, where will it start from? Because if Trump does not actually understand the complexity of the insecurity in Nigeria, how are they going to do that? That's the fears of most of Nigerians onto that. And that's why the federal government had to step in. Now, ordinarily, the fears of other Nigerians is all about America. They say if most of the countries America invaded had never been the same. Any country America invaded has never been the same. Now, the fears is there. Is Nigeria going to also face what other countries have faced when America invaded their countries? Is it that genuinely America is coming to fight insecurity, or it has other motives? These are questions Nigerians kept asking. And so they've been skeptical about if the president is actually coming to fight insurgency or they have other motives, because people out there would say they are coming for our resources. I bet you've heard that America is coming for the resources of Nigeria. We have a lot of deposit of oil, we have gold, we have
lot of minerals,
lot of resources, precious resources in Nigeria. So are they actually coming for our resources, or they are genuinely coming for the people of Nigeria? But I always say, if genuinely America is coming for the good of Nigeria, so be it. We are supporting it because it's going to even help both the Muslims and the Christians, because it is when they come, they would actually understand the situation in Nigeria. So if they are going to strike places in Zamfara, Katsina, so be it. The people will be liberated, because that is what they are looking for, to be liberated. If they are coming for the people of Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa, and other states to actually fight those militias that have been, killing these people out there, it is for the good of the Christians. So I think if genuine is coming, the American government is going to come to fight, I think it will be plus for all the both religion. But the information coming out now is that the Nigerian government had a discussion with the United States government, and they have reached a resolution that, okay, we are not going to, strike again, but this time around, we're going to cooperate together to face the issue of insecurity. It means there's a request of arms when by the government to the American government. We're going to look at that speedily, give you the arms and then support you. Probably our troops will be here, and then we're going to do this multinationally, or it's just going to be a joint task force of a thing to do that. So we go still a welcome development from my own end.
Okay, you've been making statements with if. So meaning that there are some areas that are still gray that you are not aware of it. In terms of, okay, the government, the American troops coming to Nigeria, we are not sure of what they are going to do. We are not sure of their motives. You also mentioned that the US are not aware of our problems. Like, they don't have the full picture of our problems. So at what point do you think they don't have this information? Do you think they don't have this information?
Well,
we're talking about the US.
Well, even if they do, those communities, it wasn't visible.
At what point did you conclude that?
Yes,
they don't have this information?
From the moment Trump spoke, I understand. He might not have the full picture of what is happening. You see, Trump is saying go as the president of the United States of America, that trying to control the whole world, the military of all countries in the world should be able to balance and not take side when it comes
to the presidency.
Of course, I have admitted that there's ethnic cleansing, there's a genocide going on with Christians in some part of Nigeria, And also, Muslims are also feeling the heat of the same kind of star, you understand, in their own in those places. Now, let's check it out. The kidnappings we've witnessed, you see, it has also happened in Muslim dominated areas. It has also happened in Christian dominated areas. There was misfiring of the Air Force, I think in more than 5 instances that we saw happened in the northeast, and then the northwest, the northwest as well, where communities are wiped out by airstrike mistakenly. These are Muslims. Most of them were Muslims. Some of them were also during their Maulid period. But when you look at it, there have been affected. Muslims are affected. Christians are also affected. That is why you have to categorize this issue into two. So the Nigerian government quickly went to the United States to tell them to have a discussion with the United States government that it is not just all about one religion, but it's all about both religions who are facing this issue. So I think they've had on understanding based on what is coming from the United States and of course the Nigerian government. They have had understanding between the two countries, and then they understood the issue on ground, and they are going to act based on the issues on ground now. That is why I said probably they don't have the full picture of what is happening in Nigeria.
I understand your point, but at this point, if you don't believe in the U.S. Government, how comes you believe in the Nigerian government to think that they can actually sort this issue out by collecting support from the U.S.
All right.
In fighting this insurgency?
Available information does not really mean that it's just going to sell arms to Nigerian government and fold its arms. No, it's going to be a joint cooperation. It's just going to be a joint, operation between the United States government and the Nigerian government. That's exactly what.
And then what I'm saying is, if you don't trust the U.S., since you don't trust the U.S. government, then collaborating with Nigerian government
get
again.
My point.
It's still the same thing.
I didn't say I don't trust the United States government, but I'm telling you,
you've made a lot of what if.
Now the point here is that we are not sure. You get it? Nobody is sure of the motives.
Yeah.
That's why I said there are concerns from people, netizens out there that have been voicing their opinions regarding the invasion of Nigeria, by the United States government in the issue of insecurity. That is my point. I'm not saying
a lot of people mention a lot of countries where US invaded and problems still persist. But in the same manner, there are a lot of countries that the US actually grant them support and they have resolved their security issues. So it's also not a balanced scenario.
Of course,
it's not also a balance.
It's not a balanced scenario. That's why I said, of course, we welcome the development, whichever way that they are going to use or they are going to follow. If it's going to bring peace in Nigeria, so be it. Because right now, the Nigerian government does not seem serious with the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. And, the problem kept on persisting. We've seen the Northwest governors meeting yesterday, and they are still calling for a state police. These are issues that have been clamoring for years, even before the coming of this administration. When it came, it became a burning issue, the issue of state police. But it died quietly because, they tried their best to speak about that, but yet it's not working. We have a lot of security outfits, you understand, in Nigeria, either private or still owned by state government, who are not licensed to hold sophisticated weapons. But of course, they are even helping with the situation. Go to Borno State and see the civilian joint task force. It was the civilian joint task force in Maiduguri that even helped the Nigerian government, military, and then other security apparatus of the government to fight this insurgency in Maiduguri today, in Borno State. Put it that way. So if the civilian joint task force who are working day in, day out, and then helping with the security of the locals, Even if you come to other states, there are the Nigerian hunters, the neighborhood watch. They are also there. They are helping with local security in some places, and even where there are no security, they help in mining, and we have seen successes. They have succeeded in repelling some of these attacks. They have succeeded in securing their communities. So the glamoring of state police should be looked into. The federal government should look into the issue of state police holistically, and then empower the states to able to manage them, because they know the nooks and crannies of the states where they belongs to, and they can be able to fight them, because we don't have the enough manpower to man them. We're talking about police. I don't think the Nigerian police are up to 400,000 in Nigeria, less than that. And
world standard, how many people to a police officer?
I think 400 people to a police officer, also 450 of the United Nations standard. But we have more than 200 million Nigerians estimated, and we have less than 400,000 policemen on ground. So how are they going to police 200,000 Nigerians? It's not
200
possible. 200 million Nigerians. So it's not possible.
I think I saw in the news that the president has asked all police officers attached to VIPs.
See, the thing here is that we're talking about the whole police in Nigeria without FIGO. So even if all the policemen, including the IG, will be on patrol, we're still talking about that FIGO. So how are they going to police 200 million Nigerians? It's not possible. But of course, the president did well. This is not the first time. The IG, I think, had declared the withdrawal of police attached to VIPs more than 3 times. It didn't work. Okay, now let's see. The president has given the order. Will it actually work? They have dispatched signals to all commands in the state. Are they going to work with that?
What about the military soldiers?
Well, you see, the security situation has overwhelmed and it has overstretched the police, and that is why the army is coming in. Initially, the army should not even be seen in towns. The army should be protecting the territorial integrity of the country. They should be at the border point. They are only activated when there's a war. I hope you understand my point. Yeah. But because the insecurity is overwhelming Nigerians, that is why you see soldiers or the army scattered everywhere, even within towns where they are not supposed to be. That is the work of the police. But because the security situation has persisted, the government had slept over the issue of insecurity. Because when we talk about insecurity, when you give an inch, they take the whole hand. So the failure of government to term the issue of security holistically is the problem. You would want to ask me how? Yes, of course. How is it possible that this bandit will move in their hundreds, not even 100, not 200, in hundreds, 300 and above, riding on motorcycles, on cars, in the forest, well armed, and they are not noticed? Is that possible? With all the intelligence gathering we have in Nigeria, that you said they are not noticed, they move freely on those terrains, go to villages, displace people, pick people, do whatever they want to do. They retreat back to the forest. They leave for another day. They still come back again.
They go online.
They even go live. We see them going live. You understand? So you begin to ask yourself, what is really the problem? Ordinarily, they should be noticed. They should strike them out. But we're not seeing that. So where is the problem?
When an ordinary Nigerian calls out the government on social media, they get that person arrested. But bandits and others, they come online bragging and showing their activities, but no one get them caught.
So it's the same question we're asking.
So a lot of people attach this to the Nigerian government. that they're aware of all this and they are probably in the picture of everything and they don't want this to stop.
You see, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, sometimes when we are talking about the issue of insecurity, we begin to wonder, let me borrow the online banter. You always see, if they explain Nigeria to you, you'll also be confused. Now, you see, there's a benefit to the issue of insecurity. Every actor is benefiting, and that is why they don't want it to end. From the military, the police, government agencies, they have means to stop it, but they are not. Why? I have met this, findings that you go to Maiduguri today, where they had share of the Boko Haram insurgency. When you go there, you see the number of keke napep roaming the city of Maiduguri. 60% of those keke are owned by the military. You understand? Because they don't operate motorcycle there in Maiduguri. So that is what they use for transportation. They are owned by the military. So you see, they are raking millions of naira doing their business. Go to Baga, the fish market in Baga, and see what is happening. There are report of ponds in Baga where the military or the security are fishing, are rearing fish, and then taking out to the market to do their business. So how would that end? This a rumor report I'm talking about now. How do you expect that it ends? The non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, are there raking millions of naira in the name of humanitarian activities in those troubled areas. So why did US aid stopped in Nigeria? You know the reason? It was there in the Congress of the United States that they are using the US aid to sponsor, terrorism in Nigeria. That is why I said Trump should start from the US aid government, the United States government. He should start from that place. His investigation start from there. And that's the main reason why he stopped US funding in Nigeria, because of the issue that it is tied to financing terrorism in Nigeria. So you see that there are foreign machineries part of these issues because of what they are gaining out of insecurity. But if government wants to stop it, it's a simple way. They can do that.
Yeah. So we can all agree that, okay, the whole situation came from the investigation that was done with United Nations and finding out that they are aiding terrorism in countries abroad. So from there, then it leads to the issue of Nigeria, a country of a particular concern. So as a person, or as a Nigerian, a common Nigerian, what is your honest suggestion about this? Should the US come to Nigeria and save Nigerians, or should the US just collaborate with Nigerian government to save Nigerians? What is your outright opinion about this?
All right. My opinion is that whichever they choose to, it's a welcome development. I've mentioned that earlier from the beginning. But I think, of course, they need to also collaborate with the government of Nigeria. When they are coming, that will actually help, with the situation and to understand, the issues in Nigeria holistically, and so that they would it will end this issue holistically. And even if they don't want to collaborate with the government, though they have done that initially from the report coming in, they should investigate more on the issue of insecurity, and then come up with a solution. Because when you allow the government to be on its own, what have they done from the beginning when there was a cry of insecurity? I was watching the defense, the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, when the president asked him to go to Kebbi to ensure the safe return of the abducted 25 girls. And from the moment he touched down on the airport, I know it's going to be a total, rubbish. Because how on earth, it's just like you're going to the war front, and then you're being received with an honor parade at the airport. Soldiers line up with receiving parades of soldiers, even rolling out a red carpet. Why? For why? For why? It's just like you're going to the war front. So it does not really matter all this military parade you received at the airport. We know you're the defense minister, you're entitled to that, but you have to show Nigerians that you are serious. But there was a parade on the airport. They even rolled out a red carpet for him. They did all of those issues, and I said, no. There's no seriousness in what they did. And when he came after meeting, he came out to the press to tell us that they have spotted where the terrorists are. Who does that? Why? This is supposed to be a secret mission. A secret mission. If at all you want to, boost the morale of Nigerians, you should have come out to the press and simply say we are working on top of the situation, and we are showing Nigerians that we are not going to relent on our effort in securing the smooth release of those girls. But you went, to the press to tell the whole world that you spotted the terrorists where they are, and they are daft enough to stay where they are. It doesn't make sense. Now, let me come back to the issue where I said there's a complicity of the military. Kebbi State Governor raises an alarm. He raised an alarm that after the abduction of the girls, he publicly said there was a security, communication to the effect that possibly there's going to be, a security breach. He called for a security meeting. They had a meeting. They deployed security soldiers to the school, that particular school in Maga. There were soldiers there guiding that school. But he said the moment soldiers withdrew from the school, it was not up to 45 minutes when the bandits strike in the same school. It was a public statement. I'm not minting. I'm not even speaking out of rumor. It was a public one, and he even called for the probe of the army that they should be investigated. Why would they withdraw at that point in time? And it was immediately after the withdrawal that we witnessed this issue of kidnapping.
There's a loophole.
It means the security architecture needs to be rejigged. Government should look at these issues holistically. Just check out what happened in Niger in St. Mary's School. Government has ordered that all schools should be shut down in that place. Already schools were shut down. Why did the school reopen the school? Why did the management of the school reopen the school when government had given order that schools should be shut down? They went and they reopened the school without informing the government, without the knowledge of the government. If you check out the statement of the Niger State government, they said that the school reopened without their consent, without their clearance, even when there was an order that schools should be shut. And when I came back to Bauchi, when they announced that, I saw a lot of people coming out to protest against that. Oh no, why would the government close down the schools? It has not gotten to that point, blah, 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 blah. I've seen that.
Yeah, a lot of people are making statements like that.
But you check out what happens in Niger. There was an order for schools to be shut. They did not hit to the order, and it led to what happened. So when you see security issues, should be concern of every Nigerian, not only the government alone, not only the security agencies. They are doing their best. To ensure the security of lives and property, we also need to wake up as citizens to police ourselves as well, to guard ourselves as well, open our ears, open our eyes, so that we hear and we see and we act upon it. That's the only way out.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. As individuals, as citizens, how do we help ourselves before even including the government in it?
They say, if you see something, say something. I always tell people that we should learn from previous mistakes. Why Boko Haram was able to overwhelm Borno was because the citizens denied the existence of Boko Haram. They shielded their children. You understand? From the government. When the government says, if you know your child is in link with those people, expose him, bring him out, they hate their children. They deny that their children are not part of it. And then what happens at the end? So this is a point where we need to wake up. Recently, there were reports of these bandit leaders who have been arrested in some communities. They come as if they are IDPs in some communities, while they are not. They are informants. And then it was people who noticed their movement, who were not satisfied with them, raised alarm, and they were arrested. So we should be mindful of the people we harbor in, most especially in some communities. Thank God the Bauchi state government is doing a whole lot in that area, and he has instructed all the emirs, district head, the villages head, the hamlet head to be security conscious and should not allow any stranger in their communities without reporting that stranger. So if you see anyone coming to your community at whatever guise, you report him. And then investigation will unravel, the true identity of such person. So when it starts from us, when we do our own job as citizens, it's going to be easy for the government. We have done our part. Even if government would not do its part, you have done your part. You understand? To secure environment.
Okay, that's a lot. You've said a lot concerning that, and I believe if we are to continue talking, you won't run out of words because the issue is very large. So now, on the final note, what would you say about the issue of Nigeria as a whole? Should the government step aside, that's the present administration, if they are not able to sort out this issue?
Well, that I think is a no-go area. If you say that you're calling for a coup, and I'm not part of that, I'm not calling for that. This is a democratic government.
Yes.
And this is a democratic government.
Yes, that's what I say. Should the government step aside?
Elected. The government should just ensure the safety of Nigerians, and that is all. When there's security, everything flourish. You see, even in the last quarter when we had our GDP grew in the last quarter. I have the figure, but it just skipped my mind right now. Compared to the first and the second, the first quarter of our growth, we've seen that we've grown, but then we should expect a decline in our gross domestic product in the next coming quarter because of what? The insecurity drives away investors and affects the economy. So if we want the economy to grow, then the government needs to step up, fight this thing to the last, do whatever it could do to end insecurity in this country. The president should wake up. The president should wake up. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will wake up and do the needful. Wake up and do the needful. Because Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is in trouble. Nigeria is on the siege. Can you imagine that schools are shutting down because of a threat? It means this looks like a defeat to the government. So, the presidency should forget talking about 2027 for now. Focus more on Nigerians. Focus on the security and well-being of Nigerians first before we talk about insecurity. Before we talk about the issue of 2027. It is not yet
If
time.
he
There's
does
much
that,
time
it's even good publicity for him.
to, yeah, of
If
course.
he actually fix the insecurity issues.
That one is left for the
Yeah.
hands of Nigerians to decide whether it's a cheap publicity for him and then they would still want him to come back. That's for another discussion for another day, and that's for Nigerians.
Okay. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me anytime.
I hope the next time we talk it will be positive. It will be more positive.
All right. I know. People will not really. That is why honest podcast like this is opinion, and then based on one's understanding of situations. So I know not everyone will agree to what I said, and then some would agree to what I said. But this is honest opinion, and that is my opinion.
At the end of the day, opinions are mine. All right.